What's up, YouTube? It's Reginald, and let's get into the word. So today we're on chapter 6, and it says, "It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 satraps to be the whole kingdom, and over them 3 high officials, of whom Daniel was one." So Daniel was one of these top officials. And it says, so that king might suffer no loss. Then Daniel became distinguishing above all the other high officials and him. Then the high officials and satraps, because the excellent spirit was in him. And the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom. Then the high officials and the satraps sought to find a ground to complain against Daniel. So they started hating on Daniel. How many people don't start hating on you and it's affected you? Daniel, he rolling with the punches. Let's keep going. It says, then they sought to find a ground for complaint against Daniel with regards to the kingdom, but they could not find no ground. So they couldn't find nothing, no faults he was actually doing. And it says, we shall not find any ground for complaint against this Daniel unless we find a connection with the law of his God. Then the high priest and satraps came by agreement to the king and said to him, O King Darius, live forever. All the high officials of the kingdom, the prefects and the satraps, their counselors and the governors, agree that kings should establish an ordinance petition to any god or man for 30 days. It's up to you, O king. Shall be cast into the den of lions. So they're making this rule that if anybody else worships any other god other than the king, which is blasphemy because the king ain't a god. But they're saying at this point they'll be put with the lions. And that's typically a death sentence. Okay? It says, therefore King Darius signed the documents and injunction. When Daniel knew about that the document had been signed, he went to his house where he had windows in his upper chamber, open towards Jerusalem. He got down on his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God, as he had done previously. Then the men came by agreement and found Daniel making petition and plea for his God. Then they came near and said before the king concerning the injunction, O king, did you not sign an injunction that anyone who makes a petition to any other god or man within 30 days except to you, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing stands fast, according to the law of Medes and Persians, which cannot be revoked. Then they answered and said before the king, Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you, O king. Order the injunction you have signed, but makes the petition 3 times a day. So he's praying to God 3 times because he wants that relationship. He wants to get more intimate with God. And don't think about it weirdly, but having that intimate connection with God, that's how you know 100% you're saved. Because the more you keep seeking God, the more he'll remove things that aren't of him from your life. And when you accept that and realize that God has a plan that's higher than anything you can imagine, you trust him. And when you start walking with trust in life, trust in God in your life, that's when everything changes. Sorry, the chapter went back here. I'm back to it. And it says, and the king commanded, those men who had miraculously accused Daniel were brought and cast into the den alive. Oh, no, skip. My bad. It says, then the king commanded, and Daniel was brought and cast into the den of lions. The king declared to Daniel, may your God, whom you serve continually, deliver you. And a stone was brought and laid on the mouth of the den. And the king sealed it with his own signet and the signet of his lords, that nothing may be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace and spent the day fasting. No diversions were brought to him, and sleep fled from him. Because he's worrying about Daniel, because he cared about Daniel, because you got to think about it. At this time, Daniel was one of the best people were breaking on the law, so why would you want to lose it? But you already made a command to basically put him in this terrible situation. So that's why he said, may your God be with you. It says, then at the break of the day, the king arose and went in haste to the den of the lions. As he came near to den where Daniel was, he cried out in a tone of anguish. The king declared to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, who you serve continually, have been able to deliver you from the lions? Then Daniel said to the king, O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths, and they have not harmed me, because I have found blameless before him, and also before you, O king, I have done no harm. Then the king was exceedingly glad and commanded that Daniel had been taken out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den. So Daniel leaves the den, okay? And it says, and the king commanded those men who had maliciously accused Daniel were brought and cast into the den of the lion, they and their children and their wives. And before they reached the bottom of the den, the lions overpowered them and broke all their bones to pieces. So it's not like these lions weren't trying to kill people. They just didn't kill Daniel because God has the power to command them to stop. That's the power. If God be for you, who can be against you? Realize that. And it says, then King Darius wrote to all people of nations and languages that dwell in the earth, peace be multiplied to you. I make a decree that all in my royal dominion people should tremble and fear before the God of Daniel. For he is a living God, enduring forever. His kingdom shall never be destroyed. His dominion shall be to the end. He delivers and rescues. He works signs and wonders in heaven and on earth. He who has saved Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel proposed during the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian. God is faithful. Remember that. Remember that God will never leave or forsake you. And keep him first. When you keep him first and understand that you're saved by the grace of Jesus Christ, there's nothing to worry about. Keep him first in your life. I love you, but Jesus loves you more.